There is only one God. Praise be to Him.
His love is eternal.
My life is His.
There is only one God.
Glory be to Him.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Respected brothers, listeners, Asaalamwualaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Would like to just share with you a very interesting and comprehensive hadith which Imam Zakaria Yahya ibn Sharaf al-Nawawi, who passed away at 676 after Hijri, he brings this hadith in a particular chapter with regards to the prohibition of lying, and he has brought this forward from Imam Muslim, who mentions it in his Sahih, and also Imam al-Bukhari, who mentions it in his Sahih as well as others. For example, Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, who passed away at 241, and Imam ad-Darmi, who brought this forward in his Sunan, who passed away at 255. The hadith goes, Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anh, he mentions that قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الصدق يهدي إلى البر وإن البر يهدي إلى الجنة وإن الرجل لا يصدق حتى يكتب عند الله صديقا وإن الكذب يهدي إلى الفجور وإن الفجور يهدي إلى النار وإن الرجل لا يكذب حتى يكتب عند الله كذابا متفق عليه أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. That verily a person, a truthful person, it will lead a person towards good, and doing good actions, it will lead a person towards Jannah. And a person will always in this world will say the truth until such a time, i.e. in the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write that person down as a truthful person. And verily, lying in this world will lead a person to evil deeds, bad actions, and bad action and evil deeds will lead a person to Jahannam. And a person in this world will always lie until such a time, i.e. in the Day of Judgment, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write down that person as a liar. So very interesting and very comprehensive hadith. That person, by doing something, will lead that particular person to something else, and then that something else will lead a person to something more major. Something more major here in this hadith, we see that the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning it will lead a person to Jahannam, or obviously something good, Jannah, and then even worse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write that person down as a either truthful person, which is a good thing and which is what we would want, or a liar, and this is obviously may be exposed in front of all the people in the Day of Judgment. So here there's a contrast between a person who says the truth and between a person who lies. We, in our practical life, we have many a relationship. We have our relationship with our spouse, we have a relationship with our parents and our siblings, our nephews and nieces, the folks at home, the people at work, the people who we interact with in our everyday life as well. So you have different levels of communication here, and this is what we see. We see sometimes we see there's a continuous of lying. Sometimes you lie and you think it's not a lie, you just want to get away with it, but it is still lying. And sometimes it's for other alternative reasons. I mean, especially between spouses, where they just want to get away with it, so it's kind of easy to lie, and people get away with it, and they make it a something which is habitual, and this is wrong. Obviously, according to hadith, a person lies, then it will lead to evil deeds. So now, of course, if a person starts lying or makes it a habit, then automatically it is leading to that person to doing evil deeds and bad actions without him or her knowing. And then that is obviously conducive, it leads a person to Jahannam. We don't want this in this world. If we stick to the principles of the Sharia, we don't lie, we act upon these ahadiths of the Prophet ﷺ, then of course it will lead us to the opposite direction of the fire, and that is Jannah. And this is what we all aspire, and this is what we all want and what we desire in the hereafter. And the easiest way to get out of it is, of course, we link it to another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut." So the person who believes in Allah and the last day, then he should say something good. She should say something good, otherwise keep silent. So if you say something good, then of course it is not something lying. It's not something which is a lie. Obviously, if you want to say something good, otherwise you just keep silent. And this is the easy way to get out of lying, because obviously we see that people make it a habit into their daily life, into their daily interaction with people, and this is abhorrent. This is really hateful from the eyes of the Sharia, from a Sharia perspective. And there's another hadith that Imam Bukhari brings in his collection. He says, the Prophet ﷺ says, reports to have said that إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنَّ فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذِبُ الْحَدِيثِ. And there's another warning. He says that abstain and hold yourself back from lying, from mere assumptions. Sometimes a person makes an assumption by looking at something and apparently makes an assumption, or sometimes inside him or her makes an assumption by looking at something or by thinking about something. But here the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that إِيَّاكُمْ وَالظَّنَّ, you should even stay away and abstain yourself from mere assumptions. Because if you look at the apparent of someone or the outside only of another person and you make an assumption, how do you know your assumption is really right? That person could be something totally, or be someone totally different from what you pre-assumed. Now this is what the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, to abstain ourselves from just mere assumptions. So, and he says further on, فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذِبُ الْحَدِيثِ, that it is like a severe form of lying. فَإِنَّ الظَّنَّ أَكْذِبُ الْحَدِيثِ, it is the most severe form of lying. Because this assumption, sometimes you are talking to your friend or you are with somebody and you're talking about someone else and you assume it. So you don't say the truth. Obviously you don't say which is which is a fact about another person. You rather move on assumptions. So you're talking away with your friend or whoever it is, and you both are giving your opinions about a particular person, and you're just assuming. So you assume and you think and you assume and you think, and then it just carries on, and it doesn't stop. And this is what happens when we get together, and when people get together, this is what happens. So just to bring forth the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the person who believes in the last day and he believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then say something good, or you rather keep silent. Say something good or you rather keep silent. This is also an exercise, a tool that we can use to stay away from heated arguments, heated discussions, any kind of future rift, animosity that we may have between ourselves, i.e. Husband and wife, husband, parents, wife and her parents, wife and kids, children and their parents, siblings, people at school, people at workplaces, or people that you interact in a day-to-day basis. Like for example, it could be business and it's your customers. So these are only a few, and there are much more ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ as warnings and as encouragement. That if we just stick to these principles, mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, then inshallah we'll be saved. But not only in this world, it will help us a great deal in this world and especially in the hereafter, because this, if we act upon it, then it will lead us on the road to Jannah. And that was just a small message. Inshallah we'll be back soon, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability and enable us to quickly, swiftly act upon these ahadiths and these precious gems that the Prophet ﷺ has shared with us. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.